So thank you for joining us and being a part of our Letters and Legacy series. I'm really excited to just learn more about you and your organization. So for everybody that's listening, if you just want to give us a brief introduction about you, who you are, and like what your organization is all about.
Okay, perfect. Hi, everyone. My name is Simone Gamble. I use they and them pronouns, and I am the founder of O.A.A.R.S. O.A.A.R.S is an acronym for Organizer, Activist, Artist, Advocate Referral System. And we are a consultancy of people of color who identify as community organizers and activists who lead social justice center education and training for organizations who are really on the path towards equity, towards inclusion, and towards psychological safety for marginalized identities there. What makes us unique is one, that we center voices of color and those who are actively engaged in activism and organizing work. So it kind of makes sure that justice is the center of the work that we do.
No, I love your mission and what it's all about, but I'm really interested to know the spark that inspired you creating this organization.
Yeah, I think I think a lot of businesses and a lot of ideas come out of either two things, like a spark of inspiration, or I call them downloads, but a lot of it is actually from a problem or harm that was caused, and then we try to be the solution to that harm. So I would say it was born after a major police killing that happened in New York City. And I remember had the night before having to experience that, and then the next day having to go to work. And in my expectation, I went to work thinking like, these problems are going to be talked about and discussed. We might have a moment where we can chat about it. And then what I was met with was silence. Silence when I got to the workplace because people were not prepared to have this conversation or how to start the conversation. And I felt like people expected folks, especially those with marginalized identities, to kind of leave the world at the door and to just come in and be productive. And for me, I just wanted always to be the noise in the room. I wanted us to challenge power in the space. I wanted us to talk about things that were difficult because that's the only way we can kind of heal and show up as our full selves. And I think the biggest thing that I noticed was that there was a lack of psychological equity in workplaces. So some of the problems and traumas and issues that I was coming with as a Black femme into the workspace was completely different than some of my like white peers. And so I wanted to make sure to center like the safety and equity around psychological safety in particular for marginalized identities and do it with people who make social justice their lives. One thing I noticed was that consulting was happening. I was doing a little bit of consulting myself, but when I started to refer people out, one of the things that tied us together were that we were all community organizers and activists. And those were some of the people who were left out of the consulting world when actually they had more expertise and had a more intimate knowledge of systems of oppression and what actual change looks like. So I saw the need for this in this market, but I also saw a group of people who were not always getting compensated for their knowledge, for their expertise. And so I connected those markets.
No, I agree. I definitely feel like there needs to be a space to talk about this, especially within the last few years. I have seen a little change. I'm not saying it's a huge change, but we're getting there slowly. I want to know what's the most important thing you want to do with your organization? Like what's the end goal for you?
That's a good question. I've been getting that question a lot, and it's hard for me because sometimes it's hard for me to think so far ahead. I think what the end goal is. I have to really think hard about this. I think there's different avenues for it. I want to become a space where I want to have a space where we become the learning platform for three different groups. The first one for organizations, I want us to be the space where they can come and look at and explore different options for what real non-performative actual justice center change looks like in organizations that is not top down, what that looks like, and have trainings led by our consultants who do this work daily and show them what it looks like, instead of us going to them and customizing what they think they need best. So I would love to become a learning platform for non-performative real social justice trainings for how to um, come into organizational change. The second one is I would love to do more for the consultants because as organizers and activists, they are doing a lot, not just professionally, but personally on their own time, fighting for liberation. And so I want to provide more opportunities for networking. I want to provide more opportunities for healing. I really want to provide more opportunities for movement building where they know, like, if you're doing work on education justice and I'm doing work on gender justice, how can we intersect our movements? And lastly, I would also love for them to host a learning space or a learning platform for them to teach others how to become organizers and activists. Because I think people have one idea of what it looks like and what avenue they can go in, but there's so many different ways to engage in organizing and activism. So I want them to lead that part. I would love for us to help build out the future generation of what organizing looks like from those consultants.
I love how you said how you want to be like that connector, like that bridge between individuals. I find that really inspiring to hear. I feel like you're very big on community and community building. So I want to know, how does your organization impact the community?
Ooh, that is a big one. The first one, I would say, is the community of consultants. Since they are all identified as people of color, I would say I'm impacting them in a way where I'm providing at least some kind of additional income for their expertise. So providing that additional resource for them to share their knowledge, to get compensated with a pretty fair rate, and to be able to share their knowledge with organizations around what their work looks like. I would say I'm impacting the community of people within workplaces who who hold marginalized identities by giving them a space to share, to resist, to fight back, and to challenge power in the space, and having someone else who's a consultant who centers that to kind of guide them through that process. So hopefully providing a little bit more safety in those workplaces, even though we have a long way to go, because to change culture and systems takes a long time. So in some ways, I do feel like I'm not doing enough in that way because it takes years and it takes the collective to do that. So sometimes that's my only hang up. And I would say a third way that we're realizing we're impacting the community is through the youth. So this last summer, we were able to create a justice journal where we're having young people tackle what racial equity means. And so we created a journal, we created mindfulness cards to center healing, and we created a curriculum to complement that. So we can have young people talk about what race means, talk about power and privilege, talk about different racial equity concepts, so they can become a generation that is informed and then can lead through organizing and activism in a different, more informed way. So I think those are the biggest three ways that I can think about.
Another point I want to add, when I was looking through your social media, I saw that you guys started introducing these workshops.
Yeah.
And I love seeing that because I feel like that's just like an easy thing for just people coming across you guys to just like join in. So I would love to hear more about that side of what you're offering.
Yeah, so the public workshops we started offering was actually born out of me being completely burnt out. So I know, like, on our social media sometimes, or when we put out certain things, like, this work looks like glamorous and easy, but it's so difficult. And a lot of the time spent in diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice work, or JEDI work, is chasing requests for proposals, is customizing workshops to the client's needs. And I think I got to a point where I was like, none of this feels like it's causing any kind of change. None of this is going deeper than it needs to be. None of this is really getting to the core or the root of the problem, because it's being tailored to the organization, which, if you want to stay in business, sometimes you have to do that. But at the same time, I knew that I had consultants who could create their own custom workshops and could create workshops that are actually justice centered and actually push people to make more structural changes. And so I wanted to be the host now. So instead of chasing organizations or customizing to their needs, I wanted to be the space where they can come to us, where justice is at the center, and where we have talented organizers and activists to kind of guide them through this process. So I'm hoping to at least get to a point where we have 3 to 5 workshops a month. But we want people to be able to pay for that. So we're thinking about sliding scale and different opportunities for folks. But we have 90 consultants. And if that's a lot of people. So we have a lot of expertise in our network. So I would love for us to continue to build out those workshops and not just focus it on organizations, but like I was telling you before, thinking about how do we now do skills building for organizers and activists publicly as well.
Mhm. No, I love that you have the space, you have the platform already. So just like tapping into your own network, I think
Mhm.
really amazing. I want to go back to a point you touched on about burnout. I feel like
Mm.
startups, entrepreneurs, communities of color, we've all experienced burnout. So I want to hear your story about that, like how you overcame that and how not to, I guess, not to like go all the way to burnout, like all the way again in the future.
I feel like I don't have a handle on burnout yet. I'm probably burnt out right now. Um, but I think the biggest tool for me when I was battling burnout, especially this past year was pretty tough. I would say is to
Mhm.
say no to things that are not aligned with your mission, your vision, and your values. As I was thinking about it before in the beginning, as you're growing and people are taking interest in what you're doing, you want to say yes to everything. You want to say, yeah, I'll do that workshop. Yes, I'll work with this person, even though you know it's going to be mentally draining, it's not values aligned, but you're looking at the money. And so, what has helped my burnout is to chase alignment, chase values, and chase or not even chase, to attract values, to attract alignment, and to attract people who are really about this work. And so, honestly, saying no to things that are not aligned has given me my time, my energy, and my peace back. And then money will come if you do that, I think.
I feel like we forget the power of no because I feel like we're
Yes,
yes, yes, yes, but there is
yes,
power in saying no. Um,
right.
I guess something you did say yes to is that you did join our VER incubator with Represented Foundation. So how was your time with us? I want to know a little bit more about that experience.
Oh, the time in the program.
Yeah.
So when I first joined Represented, it was a really pivotal time for me. I remember I spoke with, I think it was a personal coach before that. And it was right as I was about to give up on the idea of O.A.A.R.S. Because originally I was going to do an app and it just, I went through a lot of ups and downs with that. And so I was really in a pivotal space where I didn't know if I wanted to continue. And so I spoke to her. She was like, you need to be a part of a community. And I saw Represented Foundation not too much longer after that. And I was like, I need to join. So Represented is part of kind of like the revitalization of O.A.A.R.S. because I was literally going to give up. I was like, this is not working. My model's not working. I'm going to fail. And then once I joined that process and saw so many other social impact entrepreneurs who were doing good work and being successful and really about change, like it felt like a breath of fresh air. What I loved most about it was learning from the other social impact entrepreneurs, was learning from the mentors who came in, who showed us like a clear path of what success can look like, whether it's the success I'm going for or not. It was good to see mentors of color to do that.
Mhm.
And then one of the best parts of it were the two, I believe we got two or three um, mentors like who worked with us one-on-one throughout the project, and that shifted everything. I remember one of my mentors, Katya, actually helped me to come up with, to finalize my mission statement. She didn't tell me what it should be, but she helped me to kind of like have tunnel vision about what I actually want to do, not worrying about what people want to hear, but what is O.A.A.R.S. And I finally got to the point where I was able to have my mission statement, and then everything else clicked. Because once you know who you are, things come to you. And so Represented, and then also Noelle, I know Represented is not just Noelle, it's the collective, but Noelle in particular just like got me together every week, like breathed life into into my organization, reminded me of my value, and like gave me really concrete skills every week, along with the guest speakers about how to make this business sustainable, and how to be a good leader. And so I'm very grateful for Represented Foundation. It actually led me to apply to other accelerator programs um, that I'm super grateful for. So yeah, I think the experience was great. I love the concept of community building together. Love the concept of that mentorship that is one-on-one. And I love the concept of like bringing in different experts to give us the tools that we needed. So it was a great time.
I feel like community is a very important part, but sometimes it's an overlooked part because you do feel alone
Yes.
the times when
Yes.
um well,
That oh, can I speak to that too? I think that's why I felt Representative Foundation was great because I think I tried to join one of the accelerator program before that, but it wasn't specifically for people of color. And so it wasn't always a safe space. Like I would deal with microaggressions or I would deal with people who didn't really understand the struggles. They would just say, well, raise the money, go crowdfund. But I'm like, also, do you understand who I am as a Black femme? Like, do you understand how that impacts my ability to do these things? So it was great to be a part of a community and a space that just got it, that understood the particular needs of Black and Brown social impact entrepreneurs. Because we're not just chasing the bag, we're also chasing purpose and chasing change and chasing impact. So it's a little bit more nuanced. So that's what I really, really appreciated about Representative Foundation. And Noelle and the team were able to like cultivate that space. And I'm still friends with a lot of the community there because a lot of people have the narrative that you pull yourself up by your bootstraps, that you do it on my own, I'm a self-made, whatever. It's not self-made, it's community. And this was the first example, one of the first examples I got to see that in business outside of my community organizing past.
yeah, no, I feel Noel is great for that. He has a lot of passion. And so his passion just like gets you excited for your passion. So
Yes, exactly. Yes.
um, what was your biggest takeaway or lesson from the incubator experience?
Ooh, I would say that is a great question. I would say it will probably be to remember my why. Like, why did I start this in the first place? Because whenever I lose myself, I definitely go back to that first. And I learned that in Represented for sure. Because I kept trying to shift my mission statement, shift my values to what sounded good or what I thought people wanted to hear. But he reminded us, and the mentors reminded us, and the guest speakers always reminded us, it's like, what is your superpower? What are you good at? And then to tap into your most raw, intimate reason why you started this, and then go back to that so you don't get lost. Because then you just become whatever people want you to become, and that's not sustainable for yourself or for your business.
Yeah, I think authenticity, once it's authentic,
Authenticity, yes, that's the biggest lesson. Mm-hmm.
like everything else flows. Like people will come, money will come, but like if you're authentic to yourself, like that's the key piece. Speaking of great advice that you've received, what's one piece of advice you wish you learned earlier in life?
Ooh, I like that question. What I wish I would have learned. Hmm. I have to think about that one. That's a really good question. What would I wish I had known earlier? I wish I would have learned that it doesn't need to be perfect in order to start it. I'm a Virgo, fun fact, but I'm a perfectionist, someone who feels like it has to be complete and 100% a concept before you go out there. But I realized you can just kind of put it out there before it's completely done and just trust that you, along with your community, can get it to the point where it needs to be. It's not going to be O.A.A.R.S 3.0 the first time you release it. There's levels to it. So just knowing that as you grow, the work that you do can also grow, and that's okay. And that perfectionism is not the goal, but authenticity is.
Ooh, I love that. Yes.
Mhm.
I really do like that. In honor of Black History Month, how has your identity shaped your business and brand as a Black small business owner?
Ooh, it shapes everything. It's the core of my work, my Blackness. It's the reason I decided to focus mainly on people of color, because especially Black voices, because Black voices have been silenced, not only in society and community, but in the workplace. And so we make sure to highlight voices of color, in particular Black voices, um, when we are thinking about the work that we do, because those who are most directly impacted are the ones who are closest to the solution. So we center those solutions in our work. We center those voices in our work. Um, Also, I would say that they have also Black historical leaders and Black leaders today have given me the compass or the roadmap of what this work can look like. And they're kind of the compass for when I know I'm not doing something right, or when I'm compromising my values, or when I'm not centering voices that need to be heard. Especially in this work that can be performative a lot. I think Blackness and Black historical and present leaders have been the person to kind of reel me back in and remember why I'm doing this work. And it's the inspiration for my work as well, because I want to make sure that Black folks in particular, all people of color, but centering Blackness for this question, that they have safety, equity, and inclusion, not only in the workplace, but globally. Our, our largest goal that I put in the mission statement that people don't always focus on is that I state that I want to create agents of change in the workplace and beyond. And what I mean by that is that I don't want this work of fighting for equity, inclusion, and justice to stay in the workplace. I want it to be a ripple effect for people to use these skills to improve their communities, improve the world at large, and making sure that those who are most marginalized get what they need, because our liberation is collectively tied. So I would say Blackness is the reason I started it, the reason I center certain voices, and my ultimate goal is to create safety and access, equity, and justice for that group.
I love how everything goes back to your why. Like it was your inspiration, it's your motivation. It's like you remember why. I love that.
Yes.
How are you celebrating Black History Month?
Oh, resting. I am resting. I'm tired. And I think a lot of me felt like, oh, it's Black History Month. I need to go doubly hard. I don't. I need to rest. Other people need to do the work during Black History Month, and we need to rest and sit back. Excuse me. I am still working hard, of course, but I'm taking a lot of rest to make sure I'm restored, because one of the biggest things is Black life, and so I need to live. I'm going to need to take care of myself. And the one thing I did today was actually we did a panel of Black organizers and activists to talk to younger students. So one thing I'm hoping is to plant seeds for future organizers and activists and future social impact people to continue and start this work.
Yeah. No, I think that's very important. Just one, resting, because I feel like this generation we're go 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 go, but you can't always push yourself if you have nothing left inside of you. And I love that you're just giving back to the community in the sense of like you're inspiring the new generation for the work that they can possibly do as well.
Yeah, they're inspiring me. They're like years ahead of where I was at their age.
Agreed. And just to finish this off, we are called Letters and Legacy. So our infamous question is, what would you love to be remembered for in this lifetime? What would you like your legacy to be?
Oh my God, this is an emotional question. There is I don't want to quote it if I don't know the full one. I think it was a Mayan proverb, but I will double check that. But I think it said they tried to kill us, but they didn't know we were seeds. And so I want to be a seed for future growth. And I'm not saying I'm here to be a savior of any kind. I'm not here to like collectively awaken people. People are there, but I just want to be a seed in people's minds and people's hearts and people's spirits, that they have the answers, that they are the key to a more liberated future, that they are the key to creating organizations, if not organizations, community spaces that can push towards liberation, that is not just about money and capitalism, that is about a bigger mission around people and connection. So I want my legacy to be that I'm a seed for people, and that I'm gonna do that through my connection. The way I connect people is probably my biggest gift. So I hope people recognize that my legacy is about connecting people as well. That community is always the way forward for everyone. And so I guess that's what I want my legacy to be, around being a seed and being a connector.
No, I feel like you're there, you're getting there. Like, yeah, like everything like I've seen like on like line and just hearing from like Noelle, I'm just like, check. Like, yes, I see this happening for you. Like it's happening in real time. We always love to like end our meetings here at Represented with just sharing our successes and like lifting each other up. So are there any successes or small wins you would like to share?
Ooh, let's see, small wins. I would say, I would say definitely one of them is definitely the panel we did today. We were able to speak to middle school students um, about organizing and activists through a youth organizer lens. So that was really cool because now the legacy is like trickling down. So that was a really big win for me today because I think young people are my heart. So anytime I get to work with them, that's great. And I guess on the um, opportunity wise, we're gonna be vending our justice journals that we created in March at a tri-state camp conference.
Mhm.
And so it'll be the first time we kind of put our work out in the larger world to be consumed and hopefully spread the work of racial equity with young people at camps. So that one is a really big opportunity for us.
Ooh, I can't wait to see or hear more about that one event.
Yes, we're trying to get that together.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this series of Letters and Legacy. I'm just really honored to have you here and to listen to your story. It's just very inspiring and aspirational as well. So thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much. Yeah, this was great. It was really great chatting with you. Thank you.